here. My name's Rory. In today's video, I take you guys along for a day in the life and show you guys how I'm structuring my day with my training, school, and handling everything that I need to get done for Elevate with upcoming launches and product development stages. So when it comes to balancing my schedule as a full-time student, startup owner, and hybrid athlete, one of the main things that I would say is to reverse plan or plan ahead for your schedule for the coming day, either the night before or first thing when you wake up. Typically when I wake up in the morning, I have an hour to an hour and a half just to myself to drink coffee, get myself ready for the day, eat a little breakfast before I have to head to the gym or head to the station to catch the bus up to class. So in that time, typically it's the night before, I use a few different apps to schedule and plan out my day. So I have all the tasks that I need to get done, ready to go, and I know that I'm going to meet the end state that I provided myself or the goal that I gave for myself for that day. So I think everyone uses Notion. Notion's really good for project management workflows, product development. It's really good for both personal brand and social media and actual businesses as well. So we use it for both my personal brand account and Elevate as well. The next app that I use a ton that Levi put me onto was the Structured app. So they have a free version of the Structured app, but also the Pro version. The Pro version I think was $29 or $20 for a lifetime purchase on it instead of paying the monthly subscription. And the Structured app is super nice because you can just plan in your entire day. You can log stuff and it'll track over multiple days. So if you have recurring events, it'll auto do that. It's a really simple user interface that just has a clean look as opposed to like an Apple calendar where it takes a lot longer to input items and everything like that. One of my favorite parts about the Structured app as well that makes it extremely easy to plan out my day so I don't have to waste a bunch of time entering each individual task and adjusting the times and making sure the schedule all works. Structured is beta testing an AI platform right now where you can use the AI. It's basically just text to speech on your iPhone or your normal smartphone, but you just mention all the tasks that you have for the day, put estimated times of when you need to have them complete by, and then it'll auto formulate a schedule for you. Then all you have to do is just review the schedule that it made for you, make sure those times make sense and it didn't mess up. If it did, you just make a few quick changes and then you hit enter and it'll enter it into your entire schedule. So in a matter of a few minutes, you can have your entire day planned out, which is why I sometimes plan in the morning as well when things are fresh on my mind of what I need to actually get done for the day, because sometimes at night I'll get most of my tasks in there, but I forget a few things that I also have to get done for the day, whether it be an assignment for class or an email to schedule a meeting for Elevate with suppliers and things like that. The next app I'll mention that I don't use a ton, but it's really good if you have a team that you're working with for either a company or people that you want to collaborate with, is Google Calendars. And why that's nice is, first off, most people use Google Suites for any of the workflows that they do. So if you can add people's Gmails to the Google Calendar, then you can see all the times where you guys match up and have time to meet for Zoom calls to get work done, or you guys can just work on certain tasks that other people might not be able to, whether it's doing a pop-up for a sale, going out and conducting interviews, etc. The last app I wanted to mention for helping to balance your schedule, and it's extremely useful for businesses, it's what I'm using right now for both Elevate and Yard Sale Ski Co., is whiteboards.io. And so this is a newer website that I started using recently for yard sale and have integrated it now with Seals with Levi and the Elevate Kill Bill and our third line that we'll be releasing relatively soon. What's nice about this, they have a bunch of different templates very similar to Notion, and they have a free version where you can have 5 different whiteboards to use, or you can pay for the paid version and you get unlimited access to everything on the site. Basically what I use whiteboards for is just a reverse engineering or reverse planning, like I just mentioned before, timeline. So we'll have 3 boxes on the screen, and what you do is you start with the end state in mind for whatever it is you're trying to do. So if we have a goal of hitting 1,000 followers or doing $1,000 in sales in a week or whatever the number is, I'm making stuff up right now, you set that as the goal at the far right end of the screen. Then in the middle you have each individual day or each individual week leading up to that point, and you put tasks that you need to complete going from future to present with the reverse planning, so you know every step that you need to do to get you to where you're trying to be in your end state and your goal, all the way back to present day to know what you have to do in that moment. So it's like what I was just talking about before when it comes to planning your day out with Structured or using Notion and things like that, knowing that you have to read a finance textbook, your management homework, and you have to work out for the day. What steps do you need to take during your day to make sure you can actually do that? So those are the main apps that I use for planning both my personal brand, my school, and work with Elevate, and how I am able to balance my training and everything like that. I, just like all of you, have a lot going on in the day, so when I'm running from class to meetings on Zoom for Elevate and my personal brand with brand collaborations and stuff like that, or content planning for myself and with Levi, time goes quick and I get scatterbrained sometimes because I have a lot going on. So using these apps like Structured, Notion, whiteboards really helps me to keep focused and just reminds myself throughout the day of what I actually have to get done. Just got done both of my classes for the day. Had management and marketing. Got out around 1 o'clock. It's 1:20 right now. Gonna do some studying in one of the study rooms for the undergraduates. Got some textbooks I gotta read. Gotta do some stuff for Elevate with suppliers and working on that with the timelines for our product development for a few pieces that we have coming out. And then working on some stuff for SEALs with our accelerator program that we're gonna be hearing back tomorrow if we got in. So I got to continue prepping for both the Elevate Kill Bill and our other line that we're going to be having with SEALs for that. Whenever I get into these study rooms, I like to just write the tasks that I'm going to do during the study session on the whiteboard. So you can see reading both of my textbooks, starting one of my assignments, scheduling my interview, following up with the supplier, and then scheduling the team sync. Writing the tasks on the whiteboard, and I have it on my phone, and the Structured app helps me to just have an outline of what I need to get done before I can leave the study room. That way I stay on track and don't get distracted on my phone or doing other things on the computer and just draw out time. So I can only reserve each room for 2 hours, and usually I'll just stay in here for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and just knock out all the tasks that I have to get done during that time. In addition to using task lists, both on the Structured app and on the whiteboard, this brings me into the fourth point that I wanted to talk about on this video, which is just using the do not disturb or setting specific for school or work or anything like that, so you can hide select notifications that you get on your phone. But using do not disturb is one of the most helpful things whenever I'm at class, because I don't get any notifications during class, so I don't have to worry about that. And then once I'm actually studying, I can just limit what I'm receiving on my phone so it doesn't distract me at all. Or I just will put my phone away in my backpack so I don't have to worry about it. But definitely try using do not disturb if you haven't already. And then one thing, CJ, you've seen him in the last video, our videographer and photographer that we've worked with in the past, put me on to putting a widget of your screen time on your home screen of your phone. So it's the first thing you see whenever you open up your phone. And that has helped a ton for reducing my screen time that I use on my phone, so I can just be more efficient with the days that I'm at school. just got off the train from class. It's super nice outside right now, and I wanted to use the new camera that I got, and I wanted to shoot some social media content for the Fine Line graphic tee in streetwear fit. So I just went up to the top of the parking garage up here. Just took a few photos for that, and then just shot some video for this video. But gonna head home now and then cook up some food, call it a night. But it was too early stage for the accelerated program focused on business development. Levi, what are the thoughts now that we've had the email and we've gone over everything?
Not gonna lie, I'm fairly upset. You know, we didn't get in knowing where we're at. It's hard to take in, but at the same time, I feel like at this point, when you've been put in so many different positions where I would say you're at the mercy of the worst possible scenario, or you have everything going against you. Like when you're put in those positions so many times, after a while, you go, all right, like this is it. I'm used to it, whatever, just keep going, doesn't matter. So like I'm at that point now. I was pretty pissed off. I had to walk out a couple of times and calm down. But other than that, I think it's just a matter of proving those people wrong, why they didn't choose us now. Just going hard in the paint.
Now it's Rory's turn to give his raw and emotional feedback about not getting JFK. You should have heard this man. He said, I gotta address the elephant in the room, and then broke it down to me.
He didn't even believe it the first time. He's like, wait, say it again, say it again.
I was.
I couldn't agree more with Levi. I mean, it happens, and the big thing is just we got to work on stuff when it comes to business development and just the growth of the company, and continuing to push on more pop-ups, making more revenues for those, improving the back end of the business and just everything like that. But when you get things like these and you get kicked after you've been working so hard, like we were staying up till 11:30 at night and you had up Tacoma's building when it literally was closed, and we're still inside the building working on PowerPoint all night. And so it sucks, but we're gonna hit the ground running tomorrow, the next day, and get after it after that. So we'll be back. We can apply next year and just keep at it. Welcome to MTV Cribs. Gonna take you around the warehouse. Just kidding. Real talk though, about to start going through Elevate's warehouse section where we're gonna be keeping Elevate, Kill Built, and everything under the Seal's name here. So we've been doing a lot of pop-ups lately, have a lot of products coming in and coming out with pre-production samples and stuff like that. So it's good to get a count of your product, know exactly what inventory you have left. That way when you go out to do pop-ups again, you know, and you can have the site updated with accurate amounts and everything like that. So you can manage the supply chain with new products and just making sure you have some of the core products that you're going to keep on hand at all times on the site available. So not the most glamorous part of running a business, but that's what we got to do right now. And so we're gonna go through it, start putting stuff away, and then just get a good count of where we're at on Sentinel performance shorts, Final Line graphic tees, Rogue camo tees, Rogue beanies, that kind of thing. So like I mentioned before, it's Saturday morning now. I was gonna film the rest of the video Thursday evening and do all of the inventory and stuff like that then, but I just felt like crap. I had crazy body aches, thought I was coming down with a flu, so I just took Friday and the rest of that evening to rest and recover and make sure that I was good to go. My core temperature was extremely inconsistent. I was overheating, then I was freezing cold, and so now Saturday morning I feel fine. I just have crazy body aches all throughout my back, and I think it's just strain and wear and tear from not taking care of my body and not doing mobility, having a lot of tension throughout my back, my hip flexors, and leading up my spine into the back of my neck. So like I've said in a bunch of different videos, mobility is key, and taking care of yourself is what you got to do sometimes. So yeah, just keeping it low key for yesterday and today. I'm gonna knock out this inventory. But this leads me into my next 2 points that I wanted to talk about when it comes to balancing your schedule. First and foremost, you need to have a realistic plan of what you're going to actually be able to accomplish in a day. So adding 10 tasks to a list may actually work if you have 3 to 4 big tasks that you have to get done, and then 6 to 7 small little tasks that you have to get done throughout the day as well. But if you're trying to do massive tasks like plan a content shoot, do all of the inventory sorting for your company, meetings, all this other crap in one day, it's not really realistic, and your schedule is just going to be jam-packed, and that's when you're going to be burnt out by the end of the day and not effective in your training as a hybrid athlete, not performing well with your studies and being able to get your reading done and your assignments on time for school, and just be emotionally and physically drained once you're done the day and you just want to rest and recover and hang out with family and friends. So the tip is have a realistic plan. In addition to having a realistic task list, I think it's really good to just have what I like to call a big five, or the power five. I got this idea from George Heaton, co-founder of Represent Clothing, with his brother Michael. But what the big five is just create 5 tasks you have to get done throughout the day and then leave it at that. Whatever else that you're able to knock out through the day is an added bonus, but the 5 that you put on that list are non-negotiables that you got to get done. And it's a realistic number. It's not too much where it's going to make it where you're go and you're performing at 70% in all of the other tasks, as opposed to giving it your absolute all in every single thing that you're doing, whether it's designing new products with your design team, you're training for the day, studying for a big test, and things like that. If you're drained leaving training and then you're going into the next thing immediately, you're not going to have energy to perform in your studies to make sure you're actually comprehending the material that you're learning. This goes back to using the apps before, is when you're planning on Notion or you're planning on Structured or whiteboards, just have a realistic list. Have 5 major tasks that you need to get done. If you get other things done as well, great, but don't create 10 things expecting you're going to get 10 major tasks done for the day. You very well can get that done, but it's not sustainable over a continued period of time. So creating that list of 5 and just knocking those out every single day and never make it a non-negotiable, and you hit those 5 tasks, that'll compound over time, because on the days that you make 10 and you only get 4 of the things done, over time, that's not going to beat out the 5 non-negotiables every single day. So let's start doing some inventory. The next tip that I wanted to go over is called the Power Hour, which I've talked about in previous videos, and then Pomodoro schedule. What the Power Hour essentially is, you take an hour and break it down into 6 10-minute blocks to complete each task that you have for that set time. So instead of taking 30 minutes to do the dishes or whatever it may be, you actually set it in a lot 10-minute time increments to complete each task. It just tricks your brain into thinking you have less time to actually complete the task, so you push during that time to get as far as you can with your respective tasks that you're doing, whether it's studying or doing dishes or something around the house, little things like that. Whenever you give yourself a long amount of time to actually complete the task, tend to not be as productive as if you just gave yourself that time hack. The other tip that I mentioned was Pomodoro studying, and this is a technique that is used with a lot of project management. It's also used for students in college with studying, so it's a technique that I use for myself. And basically what it is, you take a 25-minute period, and during that time you just focus entirely on studying, and then you give yourself a 5-minute break. Some people do 20 minutes and 5 minutes for the intervals, but generally it's 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break. You repeat that for 4 times, or 4 Pomodoros is what they call it. And once you've completed the 4 Pomodoros, that's when you take a longer break, either 15 to 30 minutes, before going back into your next cycle of 4 Pomodoros to finish out whatever you're doing for your respective task or throughout the rest of the workday. Going to close out the video here. Just wanted to do a quick recap of everything we covered previously in the video for how I balance my schedule with training, school, and work with Elevate. Number 1 was plan ahead or reverse plan using apps like Notion, Structured, whiteboards, Google Calendar, Power Hour, and Pomodoro studying, and just using things like lifeat.io and just prepping your tasks so you're efficient when you actually get into starting to do them. Use Do Not Disturb on the iPhone, monitor your screen time, or use preset Do Not Disturb type functions that you can set for school, work, that kind of thing, so you only get select notifications. Have a realistic task list for each day and use the Big 5 or Power 5, whatever you want to call it. And then just have a time cap that you're going to have all your work complete for each day. That way you have a good separation between work and your outside life. And then just be flexible. Every day is going to be different. Some days you have to do more than the 5. Other days you're not going to be able to do. So just be flexible with your scheduling and know that life is going to get in the way with some of the things that you're working on. So just be able to adapt to each situation, allocate time wherever need be to make sure that you're performing at the highest level you can with every task that you're doing. That's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys found value in it. If you did, be sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.